Welcome to the 7 Minutes to Better Selling podcast. I'm your host, Colin Lake, president and founder of Developing the Next Leaders.
So Mike is a director at Salt Lending. He's also the head of capital formations at New Order. I've had a good deal of interaction with Mike over the last couple of years, and I think the world of him as a human being. Obviously, that's why he's on here. But in his ability to connect with people as it relates to selling more effectively. So, Mike, so happy to have you here. Mike, let me ask you this. So, in relatively short fashion, you go from like just entering the financial services space and the crypto space to really lofty positions with some really big firms and firms that are doing great things in the crypto space. How does that happen for you? Like, how do you get to where you were to where you are today, and give some people some inspiration on how they could do it themselves?
Yeah, of course. So maybe I can start with kind of like my initial journey, my journey into like my professional journey. I'm a graduate at UC Santa Barbara with a BA in statistics. It's a very interesting degree to have. I originally started with, a double degree in financial stats and economics. Quickly, while I was at school, I decided the best course of action was to actually just get a BA in statistics, as I was recommended that it would have a higher leverage to go into business school. Long story short, I did not end up going the business school route. I ended up just going to work directly. And right out of college, my first job was Oracle. And I think most people on this call may be familiar with Oracle. It's a very big tech company. And going to Oracle, I was able to learn a lot about sales, just from kind of like ground levels up as an SDR. So as a junior level position salesperson, you get to learn a lot very quickly about rejection, blockers, and the ability to have to make multiple calls per day. When a lot of people talk about sales, it's always a numbers game. And I learned that very quickly there. Right.
Point is your willingness to like step into something, and then once you step into it, like totally dive in and be fully committed to learning everything about it and be really successful with it. I think that's what I was always so impressed with you was your willingness to say, I don't want to know a little bit about the business. I want to know a lot about the business. I don't want to know a little bit about a client. I want to know a lot about a client. And I was just always so impressed with that. And then, so that leads to the question. I said, I have a question here is, we're in a world where people are really skeptical of crypto, right? That's one thing. People are really concerned about the economy, the global economy, the US economy. They're concerned about inflation and things getting more difficult. What would you say from an opportunistic perspective do you think that salespeople could be doing to best connect with their clients and prospects today?
I think, going out during these times of instability, it really does become a lot harder to sell. But selling, especially in the financial industry, is a big relationship type of game, right? So being able to go out and be a thought leader and be able to educate everyone on what's going on, especially what you're seeing in the market, as someone that works in the industry, you should have access to knowledge through, maybe other partners you work with in different types of companies in the space. For example, like infrastructure payment platforms, not just lending, traders, or just particularly, like DeFi protocols, founders, etc. This kind of backs into the conferences. That's why I'm in NFT NYC today, is to really just get a general vibe of the landscape, right? But when you go out to your clients, the expectations is they're going to lean on you for your for subject matter expertise. So having the ability to be able to go out and let them know what's going on in markets, how they can best set themselves up for the future, is very important.
And then, so Mike, let's say like you're having trouble getting in touch with a client or prospect, which I'm sure happens from time to time with you. How do you take that and put it into, like, take the education piece and put that into the communication piece?
Yeah, so specifically crypto, which may be a little bit different compared to like traditional finance. And feel free to stop me if I'm using some terms that may not be as upfront.
Commonplace or whatever. But yeah, I think I'm tracking with you. I think you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out like the avenues, the best place to communicate. Crypto specifically, a lot of guys operate on Telegram, WhatsApp, Twitter, not so much LinkedIn. So I know on like the traditional financial space, LinkedIn is a core area to go out and prospect. Outside of that, once this is a little farther ahead, depending on like the level you're at your job today, is that once you're connected with certain groups of people, maybe director level people or above, or a certain group of high net worths, asking directly, going out to them and asking for intros directly is one of the best ways to do it.
But the big thing that I take from this thing is like if you're in something, dive in both feet, hands, head, and put everything in there and get into it. Learn a lot, know more than most, and then share that information with the folks, and then use those connections to make further connections in the space, which again I've seen you do, and I've seen you do beautifully well. So Mike, maybe a wrap up thought, and then again, where can folks find you to connect with you about maybe Bastion or maybe I should say Salt Lending first, and then also maybe see if we can talk about the new formations, or new order, and your role as head of capital formations.
Yeah, of course. So one thing I do want to point out to everyone was, previously when I worked with Colin, I did go through developing the Next Leader program, which helped me tremendously in my sales career. So I just want to put out there, if you guys ever get a chance to work with Colin, please do. I see Colin as a mentor, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for a lot of the, like the tactics, his mentorship, and everything I've learned along the way.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, always happy, to support anyone that's really helped me along the way, especially someone that has provided such value as yourself. Secondly, just quick background. Salt's collateralized lending platform. I lead the fixed income arm, so basically earning yield against your crypto. Anyone ever interested, please reach out to me. I'll put my contact information here in a bit. Also on New Order, it's incubation DAO, where I heat up formations, where I help projects with tokenomics, and then once they're ready to go out and raise, I work with tier 1 VCs like Lee, Chain, Fi, to go and help them find investors to bootstrap the initial capital for the raise.
That's awesome. They can find you on LinkedIn too, right? And I know you're on there, right? Yep. Okay. So there's a link. There's Michael's LinkedIn. So that's great on that front. And then, people will reach out to me from time to time. They have our contact information. I'll reach out to Simon.
Perfect.
That was awesome.
And here,
good selling, everyone. Michael Zhang, thank you very much.